I'm David Dale, President of the American College of Physicians, the ACP, and I'm a Seattle internist and professor of medicine and former dean of the School of Medicine in Seattle. Our school focuses on training primary care physicians for the Northwest, for Alaska, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and Wyoming. ACP is the largest medical specialty society, as mentioned, and about 20% of our ACP members are in solo practice, and as mentioned with the AMA statistics, nearly half of our members are in practices of 5 physicians or fewer. During my year as president of ACP, I've met with many of our members as I've traveled the country. Many of them are in businesses which are at a breaking point, due in large part to the problems with the Medicare payment system, just not keeping pace with practice expenses. In fact, I've become extremely concerned about doctors across the country, particularly in smaller communities, where the departure of a single physician because the doctor moves to town, retires, or dies, and has no replacement, creates a major community problem. There's simply no elasticity in the system, other than for small town folk to drive farther, and of course the whole community suffers when this occurs. These practices are small businesses where much of their revenue is tied directly to Medicare's flawed reimbursement rates and formulas under the sustainable growth rate formula. Application of this flawed system and its scheduled payment reductions over the last 6 years has created a genuine problem for physicians. Earlier this year, the ACP surveyed its members to measure the impact of pending Medicare payment cuts on their practices and on their patients. Although not designed as a scientific sample, almost 2,000 internists responded and provided a first-hand account of the effects of these cuts. 30% of our survey respondents noted that they have already taken steps in their practice to anticipate the scheduled Medicare payment cuts in July 1, 2008 and January 1, 2009, such as limiting the number of new Medicare patients that they will accept. 86% of ACP respondents reported that they would be forced to make changes if Congress does not avert the 10% cut scheduled for July. The most commonly mentioned matter is to reduce the number of Medicare patients they see. ACP members have expressed heartfelt concern for the impact of these changes on their patients. A Texas internist told us, "The practice of medicine is a calling, and as such, my colleagues and I have endured far more unfair revenue cuts than most businesses would endure. Yet, a medical practice is also a small business. We are now at the point where further cuts are not survivable. Just like any small business, our revenue has to exceed cost in order to survive. Despite everything that I have done to cut cost, the margin of profit is now thin, and the proposed greater than 10% cuts will put us out of business. The only option will be to downsize the practice and stop seeing Medicare patients. I would hate to do this, but it will be the only option I have if Congress does not reverse the proposed cuts." As an educator, I've also encountered hundreds of young people, our students, who are excited about the challenges and opportunities of becoming a patient's personal physician. However, when it comes to choosing a career path, very few see a future in primary care and being this kind of a doctor. The numbers are startling. In 2006, only 26% of third-year internal medicine residents planned to practice general internal medicine, down from 54% only 8 years earlier. Only 13% of first-year internal medicine residents plan to go into primary care. The percentage of medical school seniors choosing general internal medicine has dropped from 12% in 1999 to 4% in 2004. ACP's survey asked if Medicare payments are an important factor in medical students' selection of a specialty. 63% responded that this issue is extremely or very important. A resident at Case Western Reserve in Cleveland commented, "When I entered medical school, I'd always planned to become a general internist in primary care. Seeing the current deteriorating funding environment has cemented in my mind not to go into primary care. The ACP has conducted its survey in a number of other ways, and a key feature is the accelerated retirement of older physicians, with a high percentage expressing an interest in retiring very soon, in fact, if payment system isn't changed. The college is very interested in the patient-centered medical home concept, which holds great promise for achieving better outcomes for patients, potentially lowering costs and reducing complications and avoiding hospitalization. We also believe it will attract new physicians to general medicine and family medicine, the key specialties in deficit. We see an urgent need to address this problem for many reasons, and I'm pleased that this committee is interested in this problem and is addressing it today. Thank you.